All right, so we are moving on to lesson 10, and this is session 2. Yesterday, we were just given a brief introduction on how to add up decimals, where we made sure our decimal points lined up, or at least our place values did based on that. So, a lot of the same general ideas that we've learned about addition, but there's some more things that are important to pay attention to here when you're adding decimals. These were the questions that we did yesterday for our classwork. We could skip those. We would, if you were in class, we would have gone over those together. But let's do a warm up. And one of the important things for adding decimals is to understand the place values of the numbers you're working with. So, for example, we have 1 and 4 tenths here. And in expanded form, we have a 1 and we have 4 tenths. For 1 and 37 hundredths, we have 1, we have 3 tenths, and we have 7 hundredths. And for this one, notice there's a 0 there, so we don't have any value for the tenths place. So we just have a 1 and we have 6 hundredths. So there's that. Again, expanded form just again helps us to see that numbers like decimals break down into different place values, and those place values have to be grouped together to get the right answer, to get the proper total. All right, so turn to page 193. If you're listening to this video, remember that you can always pause it. If I'm going too fast, you can always rewind or go back to something you might not have understood. So you do have that advantage if you're doing the video. All right, so from his home, Tim rides the bus 3 and 82 hundredths miles. Then he walks 4/10 of a mile from the bus stop to school. How many miles does Tim travel from home to school? For this, and for the sake of just, again, driving home the fact that we've got to line up the numbers by place value, we're going to make a place value chart. And we're going to have ones, we're going to have a decimal point, and then we're going to have tenths and hundredths. So we're going to have all of those involved here. So let's put in our first number. We have 3 and 82 hundredths. The second number is 4/10 of a mile. And notice there's nothing here in the hundred spot. You can put a 0 if you want, but a lot of kids would probably try to line that 4 up underneath the 2, but you can't do that because 4/10 is a lot different than 4 hundredths. There's a difference of 10 times the value. All right, so let's add these up. So we've got 2, 8 plus 4 is 12. So we're going to have to regroup. We're going to bring down our 2 like normal, carry our 1 over here to the ones column, and then have an answer of 4 and 22 hundredths miles. So again, a place value chart or grid paper are really great for helping you keep those numbers lined up properly, because if we had them lined up differently, we would get the wrong answer. For example, you've got some space there down below. Let's see what happened if we had 3 and 82 hundredths, but then we just lined up 0.4 like this. So right away, let's just add our numbers. So we've got 6, we've got 8, we've got 3. Right away, you've got decimal points in 2 different spots. So either you're going to be placing it here or here, but that's not how decimals work. So right away, remember that our decimal points are always lined up with each other. So this would be the improper way to do it. And notice we got 3 different numbers, 386 instead of 422. And that's because our place values weren't lined up right. All right, let's go to the next page. You can use a number line. I'm not going to jump too much into this because it's possible to do it this way, but I would not recommend it. There's several ways that this book tries to teach you math that I think are impractical and take too much time. Plus, we don't have access to number lines. What we can do is make a place value chart like we did with our first example. And I just want you to circle this right here. And that gives us 12 tenths. So again, you cannot keep a 2-digit number in a place value column. You've got to like carry that extra digit over to the next highest place value. So that's just something I wanted to review for that. Let's look across the next page. How can you use the number line in a picture to figure out how many miles Tim travels from home to school? You don't, so we're going to cross that off. Let's not even bother with that. Look at model it. What's another way to express 12/10? What they mean by that is, what's the expanded form of 12/10? So if you have 12/10, that basically means you can take 10/10 and create 1, 1, 1, and then you have 2/10 left over. That's basically what we did with the place value chart. What's another way to express the sum? Or what they're talking about is the sum of the bus ride and the bus stop to school. We have 4 ones plus 2/10 plus 2 hundredths. Again, that's our expanded form of it. But we want the sum in decimal form, which is 4.22. Either one of these is the correct answer, but what people are really going to want to see is everything together in that 4 and 22 hundredths. All right, you can add the decimals without a place value chart by stacking them vertically. This is what we should have done with our classwork yesterday and what we'll do today. Why do you align the 8 and 3 and 82 hundredths with the 4 and 4 tenths or 40 hundredths? They're lined up because they are both tenths or both place value. The addition problem to the right is partially completed. Explain why there's a 1 above the ones place, then complete the sum. Because, let's see, how do I want to explain this? Because 8/10 plus 4/10 equals 12/10. And that 1 is up there due to regrouping. And we can just pop a 4 right in there. Didn't want to leave that undone. Explain how to add decimals. We add the digits that are the same place value. Simple as that. Just line up your place values, line up your decimals, you're good to go. All right, cross off 6, and then let's do these last 3 problems here in the back. Yana makes a trail mix with 6 and 2/25 ounces of dried fruit and 1 and 8/10 ounces of sunflower seeds. So we're dealing with hundredths and tenths, excuse me. How many ounces of trail mix does Yana make? Show your work. Let's do 6.25. I do my decimal point first, and then I'll put my 1.8. If you must, you can always put a 0 there if it bugs you that there's empty space there. Let's add our hundredths, add our tenths. That gives us 10. So bring down the 0, carry the 1, bring down your decimal, and you have 8 and 5/100 ounces. Get rid of that. All right, for this next one, so we've got 3 different numbers, so I'm going to turn this into a 2-step problem. What's the value of the expression 2 and 2/25, 63 and 5/100 and 6/10? First of all, let's add up our little guys first. 2 and 2/25 plus 6/10. So again, I'm going to just do, oops, put a 0 there for anybody that's bugged by the empty space. So I got 5 in the hundredths, I've got 8 in the tenths, and I've got 2 in the ones. Now over here, I have 63 and 5/100 plus 2 and 85/100. We add up 5 plus 5 is 10. Let's bring down my 0, carry my 1. Add up my tenths, 8 and 1 is 9. Add up my 1s, that gives me 5, and just bring down my 6. So there's that. So our answer for that one is 65.90, or since that 0 has no place value and there's nothing to the right of it, you can call it 65 and 9/10. 65 and 9/10 and 65 and 90 hundredths are the exact same value, just so you know. And this last question. Jorge spends $42.75 on a new jacket and $88.30 on a pair of running shoes. So here we go. This decimals used in your lifetime. You purchase anything, you're dealing with decimals. So this is a thing that's going to stick with you the rest of your life. How much money does he spend in all? So this term is always addition plus, as I said before at the beginning of the video, this is an addition lesson, so it makes sense. With addition, it doesn't matter which number you put on top when you line them up vertically, but out of habit, I always put the larger number first. 88.30 and 42.75. So cash registers and stuff like that store, they do this stuff automatically. They're programmed to line up your numbers with the right place values. Same with your calculators or your phones, or if you have a smartwatch that has a calculator feature. Anyway, let's add it up. So let's add up our pennies. So he's got 5 cents there. The 10-cent here is that gives us 10. Bring down your decimal, carry your 1. This gives me 11. And this gives me 13. So I'm just gonna bounce that over there like that, not forget my dollar sign. His grand total is $131.05 for this purchase. All right, for your classwork, or if you're home, your homework. If you're home, go ahead and just do the IXL thing here. I know I've got a couple kids out today. Just go do the IXL. That can count as your classwork if you're inclined to do it. For kids that are in class, they'll be doing this worksheet, all the problems on it, and H2 will be extra stuff. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know.